Yes, Lord, to be more like you. Yes, Lord. 1,000 times I've failed, still your mercy remains. And should I stumble again, still I'm caught in your grace. Everlasting, your light will shine when all else fades. Never ending, your glory goes beyond all fame. Oh, your will above all else, my purpose remains. The art of losing myself in bringing you grace. Everlasting, your light will shine. Yeah. Never ending, yeah. Your glory goes beyond all things. In my heart and my soul, yeah. I give you control. Consume me from the inside out. Oh, let justice go. Let justice go. Yes. Become my embrace. To love you, Lord. Everlasting, your light will shine when all else fades. Never ending, your glory goes beyond all fame. And the cry of my heart is to bring you praise from the inside of my soul. Oh, everlasting, everlasting, your light will shine when all else fades. Never ending, it's never ending, Lord. And the cry of my heart is to bring you praise from the inside of my soul. Hey, from the inside of my soul. Sing it again. From the inside of my soul. Spirit breaker. Hey. Break our walls down. Oh yeah. Spirit break out. Hey. Whoa. Yes, Lord. King Jesus. King Jesus. You're the name we're lifting high. Your glory. Hey. Shaking up the earth. Revival. We wanna see your kingdom here. We wanna sing it again. King Jesus. King Jesus. You're the name. You're the name we're lifting. Your love. Shaking up the earth, sky. Revival. Revival. Revive us again. Whoa. We wanna see your kingdom. We wanna see your kingdom. We wanna see. We wanna see your kingdom here. Sing that again. We wanna see. We wanna see your kingdom in our homes, on our jobs, in our schools. We wanna see your kingdom. Where you are, we will be there with you. We wanna see your kingdom. King Jesus, King Jesus. You're the name we're lifting. Your glory. Taking up the earth. Oh, revival. Hey, we wanna see your, yeah. We want spirit break out. Sing it out. Spirit break out. Yeah. Spirit break out. Heaven come down, yeah. Heaven come down.
Yes. Spirit break out. Oh my goodness. I'm like you, Denise. I just love Leon Timbo and the whole Worship Collective family. Woo! That took me in right there. I could have stayed there a little while longer. Yo, we are so excited. We got a great day planned for you. Just make sure I didn't hear that. We got a great day planned. I can't even wait. We got powerhouses coming up. Yo, so grab your coffee, grab your journal. La Rosa's going to be joining us, and we got a special guest. So tag somebody, invite them to come on, experience this. Happy Women's History Month, starting the day. Oh, we about to set it off right. So, yo, hit that theme music. Let's get it going.
So loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever will believe in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. Yo, turn my mic up. Y'all ain't see this coming. Get ready to catch this. Come to snatch your righteous mind, not your edges. God is the goal, and then there's the period. This thing is real. Woo-cha, we serious, intentional, original. God is in control. Do it for your soul. Gotta let the whole world know. Ayo, ayo. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Gonna hear some good news today.
Yo, put it in the comments. Everything is going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. It is March, y'all. It is March. We're in another month. Yo, is this? So I think we're about to come up on 2 years of the morning show. 2 years of doing Good News Today. Yo, it's exciting. It's also Women's Month, Women's History Month. So yeah, we got a lot to celebrate. But yo, I just want to take a second before we even get started. Hey, be encouraged. Everything's going to be okay. There's somebody who jumped on and the anxiety level is high. There's somebody who jumped on. You got a lot going on. It's a lot of challenging things right now. And it may feel like you're overwhelmed and you don't know how you're going to make it. Can you just hear these words? Everything's going to be okay. God's going to work it out. God's on the throne. God has a plan. He is sovereign. He is good. So know that everything, how many things? Everything. How many things? Everything is going to be okay. So see it in the comments. Say it, see it, believe it. Everything's going to be okay. And we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today, and I'm excited. But the most important thing you need to hear is God is sovereign and he's good. Yes, Susan. And there's just somebody. I just feel like there's somebody you jumped on today and you like, oh, Lord, I don't know if I'm going to make it. Hey, you're going to make it. Not only are you going to make it, you're going to make it. And on the other side, you're going to have something left. You're going to make it and you're going to win. You're going to make it and you're going to thrive. So you're going to make it. All right. So hang in there, somebody. Hang in there, somebody. Hang in there. All right. Well, my co-host is here. What's up, baby?
Hey.
She's coming on in. You know, she drops off the kids and then comes back and joins us. I was just telling everybody everything gonna be okay, baby. I was just everything's gonna be okay. See it, say it, and believe it. So as she's coming in, yo, we've got quite a few things going on. Releasing the book. Look at that. Welcome. My co-host, the queen. Come on. You looking so cute. I'm liking the jean jacket, the pop collar. Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bring back that 1990s, that 90s deal.
Yeah, that wasn't on purpose. It just ended up like that.
No, but it's swag though. It's I like it. It's good. It's cute. Anyway. All right, babe, how you doing?
I'm good.
How's your weekend?
You know, you always ask me that, and I'm like, what happened? Oh, you know, it was great. I went to a friend's. She had I guess you would call it like a conference type of thing, and it was called Found and Free, and it was fun. It was very kind of intimate, and took my girls with me, dragged them there, but they ended up having a great time. They got to hang out
So it was
with
a women's event.
So it was a women's event, yeah, called Found and Free, and met some amazing women, and got to spend some great time together with some women, just sitting and answering questions and hearing each other's stories, and it was great.
It's great when ladies take time for themselves and invest in themselves like that.
Yeah,
I think those moments are so genuine and sweet, and the residual impact of that is just usually huge.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna talk a little bit more about that. Yo, my homegirl, I don't even think we've ever talked about this. Years ago, I saw her online, and she was in these circles talking about discipleship and just doing this stuff on discipleship. And I just thought to myself, who is this Black woman out here killing it? And she was like over in London, or she's in Europe somewhere. I was just like, who is this? And I even sent her a note on like Facebook years and years ago that, you know, she never responded to because I was nobody then. But now we somebody. We are friends. I got a cell phone number. My wife, we love her.
Yes,
we love her husband. We love her family. Welcome y'all to Good News Today. Joe Saxton.
Good morning. Good morning and good morning. Hi, La Rosa.
Hi, Joe. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Joe, do you remember me? You never responded to my message, my Facebook message.
I feel I might have done eventually. It just might have been a year or so. I'm not good at replying. I'm just terrible. I look at it and I'm thinking, oh great. I'm better in person.
You're a lot, but no, this was easily 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago. This was a long
wow.
Long time ago. But I just noticed your work and what you were doing, and it was all about discipleship. Mm-hmm. And you obviously weren't living in London, but for some reason I thought I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just the accent. So
yes.
which is a whole thing. You're actually from Compton, right? But you made up the accent to kind of be impressive and sell books. Did I read that on the internet somewhere?
If you did, it was one of my enemies who sent it to you. Not that I would have any objection to being from Compton at all, but I did grow up in London. I'm born and raised in London. I'm Nigerian. I'm a Yoruba Nigerian who grew up in London.
Wow. I think that's so amazing. When I went to London, I just think Black people in London, because I'm in my Mississippi mind, that just don't go together. So it was just really cool. It was just really, really cool. And, you know, Black people in Compton are really, really cool too.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about, we got a couple of things. I got a lot of things I want to talk to you about because I'm so excited you're here, and the fam is excited you're here. Everybody's going crazy in the comments. But you do something, and we're excited to partner with you in Azar. Is that how you say it? First of all, how you say it?
I say Aza, but let's be honest, it's ancient Hebrew, so I'm sure none of us are right.
Okay, well, there you go.
Right. You know what I mean? We weren't there, so okay. You know.
So Aza, tell us what Aza is, and where did this vision come from?
Yeah, well, the full title of the event, the intensive, is called the Aza Collective, and the word Aza in Hebrew is the word that we find in Genesis 2:18, where it talks about a helper, and the dilemma for some of us is that we hear that word and we're like, oh, okay, well, and okay, well, God, I want to do anything for you. I'll do whatever you call me to. I'll lead. I'll be wherever you want me to be. And then it's like, it sometimes feels like a bit of a backup plan. But when we look at the word in the Hebrew, because if you want to understand a word in the Bible, it's good to see where it shows up. The word Aza is a combination of words meaning to rescue and to be strong and to save. It means to protect, surround, defend, and cherish as a verb. It's a word related to strength and power. And that's the word that God uses to describe his daughters, those who are made in his image. It's the word we find when it talks in the Psalms about God is our refuge and our strength and ever-present help in times of trouble. It's one who has the power to help. So the reason why I set up Aza Collective was to gather women who know that they're called, who lead, whether it's in business, whether it's in the arts, whether they are in churches, whether they're pastors or teachers or women's ministry leaders, whether they lead nonprofits, whatever their sphere, know that God has called them to lead in some way, but have never taken the time to invest in that leadership, have never taken the time to connect with other women who lead and to grow and to basically have 2 days to say, okay, God has called me to lead. What do I need to get out of the way? How can I get out of my own way? And what tools can I have? And relationships can I build so that I can go back and make my called contribution to his work in our day? Again, wherever he's placed us. And that's how Aza Collective was born.
Now, Joe, why is this a big deal to you? And what do you feel like this burden came from you and your own story? And why is this something you're giving your time to be doing?
Yeah, I think there were probably a number of things. And I'm sure as we all look back on calling, there are like these moments. I grew up in inner city London. And one of the things I was aware of when I grew up was that I didn't have access. It wasn't an achievement gap. It was an access gap to so many things. And so there is a part of my life which has always been about how do we make sure people have access to God-given opportunities, rather than, and when I moved here, I've been in the States about 18 years. One of the things I would often hear people say is, oh, we'd love to involve more women, but where are the women? And I'm like, well, I know where they are. Do you not know where they are? Where are they? And again, it was whether they had access. And so I guess at the time when you saw me with my very cheap weaves online.
Girl, then come up now, though. Girl, then come up now.
I've got a new hairstylist and Miss Marla tells me what to buy. I buy it. That's it. My hair, I paid for every penny. I would often find myself in those spaces where I was the only woman. I was definitely the only Black woman in the room. I was the only woman leading in that space. And it's not because they're not there. It's not because we aren't made in the image of God. It's not because we're not called. It was access and opportunity. And when I'd speak at events, I'd often be in, like in between conferences or leadership events, you go to the bathroom and I'd go and I'd meet these lines of women of every ethnicity, every generation who'd start asking questions and they'd say, how did you start leading this? And you'd find these mentoring moments in the restroom, sometimes women in tears about struggles they had at their churches, struggles they had at business, not sure what to do. And I think, Albert, where I concluded is these women and their calling is worth more than 5 minutes in a bathroom.
Yeah.
What are we lacking in the kingdom? What businesses aren't started? What churches aren't happening? What books aren't being written? What things are not taking flight? All because we have not taken the time to invest and unleash women who are called but overlooked, women who are gifted but underinvested in, women who are anointed but not given access. And so I think that thing has burdened me for a long time, because it was my story, because it's been my friend's story, because I've not known a woman leader who has not been lonely. And loneliness can cause you to be debilitated and shrink your calling. And don't get me, I mean, as with you, I lead with men all the time. It's just that there's always a space where you need kind of sister to sister, let's talk this out.
Yeah.
There's always so that you can go back and lead alongside your brothers fully and freely. That's what it's not because I'm trying to build a woman's thing. I just am all about leaders. And I know that we retreat to advance. And that's what Aza Collective is for. It's calling women to retreat together to advance so that alongside our brothers, we make our contribution throughout society. That's the goal.
Wow, I love that. Retreat to advance.
Mhm.
Babe, you've gone to a couple. What has been your experience as you hear her talk about it? How has it been for you?
You know, it's funny. I was just sitting here realizing there was 2 significant times in my life. So the first time I went, literally last minute, Christine said and I were taking over Women Are, but I just had Micah. Micah was only 4 or 5 months at the time. So, and it was wintertime because we went in November. And but I remember we were taking over this ministry, and Christine was like, I'm going to Aza Collective, Joe Saxton. I read Dream of You. So, you know, the whole identity piece, I can think of that. Especially having a newborn. And she's like, you should go. So last minute, pull some strings, and I was able to go. And I just remember coming back feeling really empowered to step out, because I was really like feeling insecure about that particular role for sure. And then, you know, fast forward, you know, pandemic happened. So Azer didn't happen again until this fall. And I'd signed up way long ago and signed up 2 ladies to go with me. And but I was in the thick of, Micah had just been diagnosed with autism, and I was pulling back from some roles because I felt like God was telling me I needed to let some stuff go. So I was hesitant, like, Lord, this is about leadership and empowering women. But right now, I feel like I can't do any of that. I'm feeling like lost in a sea of a lot of stuff. And I just didn't feel like, I didn't know what I was going to get out of it, because I just didn't know what I was and what was happening in my life. And so I get there, and the theme of it was how leaders thrive. And at first I was like, I'm not even leading anything right now. So, but what I love is that Zoe teaches, and then we get in these groups and we get to unpack what Joe is teaching. And I love it because the group it's so diverse. Like, it's diverse in age and, you know, season of life. You know, you got women who are in corporate world, you have women who are in nonprofit world, you have women who are church planting, you have women who are starting their own businesses, leading ministries. And I love to hear how the word that God gives Joe, meet each of us right where we are, right? And we encourage each other. I love how, and like I said, I don't, Joe probably remembers this, I was a blubbering mess like the probably entire 2.5 days, just trying to figure out what was going on in my life. But it was just so cool to the way God still spoke to me. I love where we talked about access, and she talked about how leaders thrive, and there were six different ways. And I just remember thinking, I'm letting stuff go, but being encouraged. I remember Lily talking about having to let a ministry go because she realized she didn't have the capacity for where it needed to go. And that just really sparked something in me, because it was just like, okay, Lord, like, I can look at it differently now. Not this, oh, I gotta let this, you know, something I love go. But you know what? This season, I don't have the capacity for it. And somebody has the capacity to take it further than I can take it. And I think that's when it flipped for me, because I realized, wait, God, you do have something for me. Yeah. Even in the midst of me having to, like, my leadership role shifting, God still had a word. And I think that was the beautiful part of it, just being able to hear people's stories and hear where everybody was, but hearing how God was meeting. And it was just every area. Like, I got nuggets for parenting, I got nuggets for marriage, I got nuggets for how, even in where God was calling me to, I can still affirm women in ministry, affirm or advocate for women in ministry, and create access for women. And yeah, I mean, I just nuggets. There was a panel, Tasha Morrison was there, and it was just so many nuggets, so much that I learned, and that I'm still, you know, ruminating over. Is that the right word?
I felt like she came back home excited and empowered in a way unlike I hadn't seen before. So I know, and I don't say this often, but I know when I get together with a group of guys and we get into the Word of God and we get to talking about our experience, it's unlike any other space that I'm in. It's just different. It's different from some Sunday is different from us all being together. It's just different. And something happens in a room full of men, honestly, that just does not happen with women in the room. It just does not. It is something significantly different and powerful. And the opposite is true. Yeah. Like, Joe, when we've talked before, talking about empowering women and that kind of stuff, and I feel like I feel like I'm pretty decent at it. But you said, Albert, that when you've done all of that to empower women, they're just at the very beginning of understanding who they are. And I just thought to myself, wow, they need their own space to go deep with one another, because there's something that happens when women pour into one another and women speak into the issues of women with men not in the room. It's just undeniable. It's just something significant. And it ain't nothing negative. I just think it's something beautiful. I think it's something sacred, and I think it's something that's necessary. But here's the deal. Women tend to not take that time for themselves. They come up with so many excuses. And let's be honest, it's harder for women to pack up and leave for 2 days than it is for many men generally. I mean, that's just how we're set up. It's just, dad can just pack up and roll out and, all right, we got it. Mom trying to pack up and roll. It's like, whoa, hold on, wait, we got this. So it's extra work, but it's worth it. So the Aza Collective is coming to LA. It's coming here. Fellowship is partnering with Joe. Victory Bible Church in Pasadena is a part of this. It's going to be in Pasadena. It's coming for 2 days. Hey, take time for yourself. Invest in your leadership. You deserve to be in a room with other women speaking to leadership, because you're a leader. Some of you are even listening to this and thinking, oh, I need to call a leader that I know. No, you're the leader. You're the leader that you know. Leadership is influence, and you have influence, whether you are influencing a board table or your dining room table. Right. You are an influencer, you are a leader, and you deserve this time for yourself. When is it coming to LA? What are the dates, Joe? Yeah, so in Southern California, it is April the 21st through to the 23rd. So not too far from now, but Albert, I think you made a really good point in terms of often we put ourselves last. We make sure everybody else is taken care of, and particularly when it comes to our leadership. Particularly when it comes to leadership, it's like, oh, that's a luxury. But the future's too important to be left to chance. And your calling is too important to be left to chance. And it impacts every part, like just as La Rosa was saying, every part of our lives. And so that's the opportunity for Southern California, April 21st through 23rd. But also there's an opportunity in Northern California, in Sacramento, from May 9th through the 11th. And you can find those dates on the website. But those are the 2 times. Go to the website and register. Now, it's an investment in yourself. It's 2 days that's going to transform your life. Joe, how much is the registration? Registration, you know what? I've forgotten what the registration is. It is, can I tell you the discount first? And then someone's going to text me and say, Joe, you fool, why didn't you tell us the amount? But one of the team will be telling me. It's around 400. Okay. But there are scholarships available. Please apply. No one has applied for scholarships yet. So please apply. Also consider your budgets, your teams, how you do that. But if you're coming to Southern California, then when you register, type the word fellowship, and then you'll get a discount. If you are coming to the Northern California, type the word Midtown, use the code Midtown. And sometimes the promo code's in a really odd area. Look for it because I don't want you to miss your discount. Yeah. So it's an investment because it's high quality. Yeah, it is an investment. And that's the other thing. Sometimes we're always looking for the cheapest route when you are worthy of a greater investment. Yeah. So this isn't cheap. It's an investment in your leadership, and you will not be the same. So I want you to jump in this. And this is important for us to talk about this morning, because I just really we've been talking a lot about loving yourself and how to love yourself well. And I just thought this is an opportunity for the women that are part of the Good News Today family to love yourself. We've been trying to do a Good News Today reunion. This could almost be a little meetup. Yeah. Fellowship. It's going to be a great time. Put in the code fellowship for the event, and we want to see y'all there. Joe, before we leave, because folks got to get back to work and all that kind of stuff. But just give us a nugget, and I'm putting you on the spot because I didn't prep you for this at all. But what has the Lord been saying to you, and where have you been sitting with God lately? And what do you sense God saying? It's they got the number. It's $395 for 3 days. So they started putting it in the comments there. And you get a discount.
Thank you, everybody who knows this better than I do. Thank you, Denise.
Yeah. And then you'll get a discount off of that for putting in the word fellowship. Yeah. But as we go into the day and as we start the week off, Joe, would you give us a word of where you sense the Lord's been speaking?
You know, it's funny to think that like good news has been happening for 2 years, because I feel like it's felt like it's been a long time since we had some good news. There is lots of upheaval. Remember that back in the day, we thought this upheaval would be 2 months, and then 6 months, and then 9 months. And the word that I'm living with, particularly as we come towards Lent, is if we are going to navigate our way through the wilderness, if we are going to lead our babies, look after our aunties, lead our teams, then we will have to dig deep. Mm-hmm. We will have to dig deep for the wells that will sustain us through the wilderness. And so that's one piece. The other thing I feel the Lord saying is, and this may be for some of us who are leaders, but actually for all of us, because all of us have influence, is when we look in the Bible and we look at people who were called, they always felt inadequate, and it was always in times of upheaval. Mm-hmm. God is used to this. He's used to the threat of war and the reality of war. He's used to famine and desperation. He's used to abject poverty and oppression. And God calls his people to rise every single time. Get your word, friends. Get your word, because it is impossible. That's why it's a miracle. It is your impossibility, but it's his possibility. Dig deep, get that well so that you are nurtured, so that you are refreshed, because it is hard and it is agonizing and it is stretching. And then get that vision, because God is lavishing vision and fresh words for a new day. Because when the rebuilding comes, we need to be front. We need to be center. We need to be there.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Amen. Amen. Dig deep, y'all. Folks are registering already. I see people registering. If you have questions or if something isn't connected, because someone said the code wasn't working.
Is it case sensitive? Is the code case sensitive? Maybe.
Okay, let me
just email. Even if you registered and if the code doesn't work, go ahead and register
and email us.
And just email Joe through the website, and we'll get it fixed. Let's get in. Let's dig deep wells. And let's know that on the other side of this, we got to be ready to build. And good. God's setting us up and getting us ready. And he wants to invest in you. So brothers, if you're on here, send your wives, send your daughters. And Joe's going to come back. Joe, we're going to have you back so we can talk more about leadership and more about what God is doing. I feel like we're just getting started.
I look forward to it, friend. I look forward to it.
All right.
Good to see you, Joe.
Y'all have a good week. Love you.
Bye.